Hello there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from Laststandgamers, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're doing another Steam Workshop Spotlight, and we're actually having a look at this futuristic city by Daxter. There'll be a link down in the description if you want to check it out yourself. Now, if you're like me, I'm always quite fascinated with architecture, structures, how they're built, how they're combined with structures around them, and just how the designs flow into each other. And every time I visit a foreign city or I'm doing some traveling, I stare up at many of the buildings in envy and go, wow, that is such a beautiful creation. And looking at structures like this in Space Engineers, I think it's quite a bit different than looking at spaceships and rovers, because yes, they are static, but they have this beautiful, look at these beautiful curves and lines. So let's have a look around this city. So we'll start with this Ferris wheel. So you can see we've got this beautiful intricate shape design around the wheel, and then we've got each of these individual carriages with some viewing seats like so, and it is slowly rotating around, as you can see, each one of these being on a hinge. And this is designed to be out on this little dock that I think is quite cool, with this lovely little ticket booth. Now, in Space Engineers, you could argue that there is no real purpose to this, because players aren't going to maybe sort of take over a city and run it. Maybe a roleplay server like that could be quite cool though. So as we come down to the beach, we've got some vehicles parked up at the little tiki bar on the shore here. We've got like this cool motorcycle here with these little legs. Then we've got another little truck, very futuristic in design. Look like they're probably electric powered. I'm guessing most vehicles in the future will be. And as we come into the beachfront area, we've got these lovely light ideas. Look at that. That's a cool light idea design. So this one's actually floating, but a lot of them are actually just up like that. That could be an idea for some bases and some different creations. Yes, we've got the floral sort of tree mod on, and as we come up into this area, look at the combination of both these plants, the trees, and the curves and the lines to this structure. This could really offer you with some great inspiration. We've got some curves adding to the architecture around there, and a number of these buildings are connected up with these sky bridges that I think is a really cool futuristic project. Like, if more buildings did this and connected themselves up like this, the ground area would be free for obviously vehicles and other sort of transport between them as well. This one's got like a tree area up in the top, like a little loft garden. Very, very cool. Look at that bridge. How amazing is that, how it's all strutted up? Let's get a bit of an aerial view, because these cities, they become a bit of an art form from above. So lovely there. Another little rooftop garden in each one of these. Let's have a look into some of possibly, what are these, little apartments, I'm guessing. Would have to be decked out by whoever is moving into them, of course. And then over on this side, we've got a repeat of that building. But look at this central area as well, how it curves down. Like, there's just a lot of thought and planning that's gone into building each one of these structures to make them look this beautiful. So coming over here, we've got ourselves like a little heliport. We've got docks over here for connectors, so you can bring your ship in, dock up and resupply and whatnot. Below, we've got a little land bridge area, and here we have like almost like a terminal. It's like a station type building. So inside here, we can come inside and we have tickets for the aerospace port. Earth, Pertram, Moon. Oh, it's quite expensive travelling around with all this space, isn't it? Well, I guess if you're living in a place like this, you'd be absolutely fine. So as we come up into here, across another little walkway bridge, we've got some ships that have been parked on the deck. We've got these little cool exploration type ships as well. I really like the look of these. They're all really fitted into this sort of architecture and vibe. You know, when you tune into someone's build like this, you can almost sense their style. So coming over here, we have got this larger ship that you actually start in when you spawn into this world, so you could fly this around and explore it. Very, very nice indeed. We've got access to the back here, so that'll allow us to go down between the levels if we wish to. Very, very nice indeed. So dropping down here, we actually have access to one of these lower areas where there's a little bit of a warning sign, because you don't want to be driving in here just in case you get hit by a train or a tram that travels between stations. So this bit's been cut out. You can see the train that we'll have a look at in a moment. So you've got a projector rotating on the top there, and this looks like another little bar or cafe sauce restaurant inside here with a menu, little place to stop by maybe on the way back from work on one of the trains. And then we've got this a much larger apartment block. Look at this area though, look at the shape. Look how them buildings just flow into each other with the glass. Like the glass, I will say in Space Engineers, it doesn't give you loads of options. So to be able to think up a design like this and let it flow so well into each of the blocks is absolutely fantastic. And of course we've got a lower floor there. Not completely decorated interiorly, but I mean, if every single room was done here, it'd be madness. You'd be here for days building this place. There's nice little subtle lighting in some of the rooms just to create effect. We'll have a look at it at night at a moment. And as we come up here, I'm guessing this would be some sort of penthouse suite right on the top here. Very cool. We've got some walkways leading around the side to this secondary building here. Now, what is this building about? Like, it had these little checkers on, and I was like, oh, is this going to be some sort of hospital? But it does look like it's another sort of apartment building. But what I like about this one is it's got these, like, little hole centers. So, look, imagine this as a room with these glass windows. Of course, you'd feel very exposed, like everyone was watching. You have to have a big purchase of blinds. If it was my case, I would feel extremely exposed. I wouldn't move to an inner city apartment, definitely. Just a bit too much for me. I like to be a little bit more out in the country. As you can see, as we come down here, we've got another cafe sort of restaurant, and this be sort of terraced. You can see we've got the lovely little planters working our way down, and it just kind of flows. A city that flows together is designed as one. You don't get cities like this usually. Cities are usually built bit by bit, and over the centuries they evolve, so they have architecture from all sorts of different artists. If one artist was to build a city, it probably would look damn cool. So there's the Cyber Burger. And we've got another apartment building up here. Or is this something else? Let's have a look. So that one, Interplanetary Fleet. So this looks like it's a head office of one of the buildings. So this one, of course, not got an interior in at the moment. But could be something that's worked on in the future. It's got some nice curves and lines to it there. I like this top area as well, how it just rotates around. You've got like a CEO type suite you could have up here. Look at that glass, how it rotates around the front there. Very futuristic. Very cool indeed. I like it as the view between this building that leads into this little swimming pool in the centre here as well. It's a really cool structure. These are really nice. It'd be nice if you could do more with this sort of thing in Space Engineers. You could have some sort of role-play city with maybe better economy functions, because I'm not too sure now, but I think they absolutely balked the economy up. It's so hard to change it and edit it as well for admins and moderators who want to implement their own sort of economy systems. You have to do a lot of messing, a lot of modding. So some more vehicles down here. We've got some little mini helicopter pads down here with some little helicopters on. Very cool, very glass-like, aren't they? It reminds me of, it's in a bit of an Elysium, or one of the other sci-fi films. One when we're in the pods with was it Tom Cruise? Look a bit like them. So we've got the train up here that we're going to have to drive and brake. How's it working? So it's working on a top-mounted railway track that's inside these interior walls. Very cool. And then that takes us back over to this section where there is some boats for the very, very rich who are out living here. These little yachts. Very cool. I like that. And then we've got this. I'm guessing maybe it's a dock of some kind or some sort of terminal. It's got this large tower. It even could be, I guess, like a far distant control room for the city. Or another set of luxury apartments. And then that leads into another little looped area that has a restaurant in the mountain. And then a circular area that takes you over to the train station. So let's have a look at this train. We had a look at everything else. Everything else is very static apart from the vehicles that move around. I know you guys like a little bit of movement, so let's have a look. So I quickly set up the train so it was pilotable. I'm sure you could do this with some remote controls and stuff. But let's actually have a look at it. So here we go. So jumping back into the cockpit. This is where I placed the little seat. But I'm sure this would be remote controlled from somewhere else in a futuristic city like this. So we'll go back, jump to this, and we'll have a look at the acceleration of this train. So it moves quite fast. I like this little rail system, this sort of system above it. It looks like it holds it onto the rails quite well. Oh wow, we are really getting some speed up now. So we just shoot through this city. Let's have a quick look at from some dramatic angles. Oh yes, very immersive. Oh, we're gonna have to stop in a second though because we're coming to the end of the track. Let's speed that up. Oh, can we hit the brakes? Parking brakes, please. Oh yes, it stops quick as well. That's what you need for one of these little trains. We'll bring it into the station, and we'll see what we can do from there. So the station's right here. Is it going to have a little bump stop, or are we going to have to pilot this manually? I think we're going to have to stop this manually. And we have arrived at the final destination. Oh, and it does stop. It has a little bump stop at the front. Well, once you're there, you can disembark. Very cool. I like trains. Maybe we should do another train server. Let's see if we can send this back. Is the parking brake engaged? Oh, we may have rammed it a little bit too hard. Right, it looks like we're going to have to wrap that one up there. Now, this is an absolute beautiful city. I recommend you check it out. You have a go at some of the flying vehicles. And who knows, it might inspire some of your own creations. So I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.